Oh,
That's
man.
how I said hi to.
Oh, man. But, today, y'all, we're going to talk about something that is a little different, but it is a conversation that needs to be had. And I brought in two strong minority African-American successful business people. So I want to make sure I say this first. They are successful business people who happen to be African-American, a.k.a. Black. And so I don't want to say they're successful only in the Black world. No, these are successful individuals as in entrepreneurs in today's day and time. Now, people already know who you all are. You all have been on my show several times.
Yes.
They know you all have built businesses from Shark Tank, from $5 to selling $5 million in products to opening up several. Correct me if I'm right.
Put that 10 on it.
Hey, put that 10 on it.
Put that 10 on it.
Hold on. 5 to 10. $5 and 10 million in product. Hey, yo. Okay, I got you. How come we are not as successful in the ownership role? And you say something that just shook my whole world. You said that ownership to you is freedom. Mm-hmm. And if ownership to us is freedom, why are we still not free? Now, I'm not saying people who are working a job are slaves and not free. Correct. Mm-hmm. But how come we're not as successful?
Well,
it's two of y'all. Talk.
Yeah. Only thing I can say, I can speak a lot on this, but I'm going to say one thing. I think that people don't bank on themselves. They're not self-reliant. They're not saying, listen, I'm going all out for me.
Yeah.
Right? When you go all out for you, you'll be broke. I've been broke 10 times before I got any money in my pocket.
Wow.
And I'll go broke another 10 times because I know what the successful feels like, and I know I got to get it. Yeah. So having that ability to say, you know what, I'm going to not let the stereotypes dictate my feelings about me, and I'm just gonna bank on myself, all in. Craps on the table on me.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion. That's my direction of life, and I think that's something that they have to have that inner. They have to say, "It's me. I'm going all out."
So you're saying that you feel as if we play the comfort zone, the comfort role. We don't want to step out and just go all in for ourselves, but we'll go all in for someone else.
There has to be a lot of people to look towards to see you in that role.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't see yourself in that role, it's really hard to go in that role. Like, if you see lots of successful African-American businesses, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to be that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be that. If you see a lot of white businesses that are successful, I don't know if I can be that. I don't know if I can be that. But if you see yourself in those images, it's easier to swallow. It's easier to go forward. It's easier to take it. It's easier to know that you can commit and make it.
Yeah.
I love what you said. I know what success feels like. And one of the things that, I want to piggyback on is I've never seen it done before. We don't have hundreds of years of my grandfather did it like that, or, my uncles, and all my dad's brothers. We don't have generations to look to say, this is the way that successful business looks. As a matter of fact, my generation is the first generation of African Americans with full access to opportunity, meaning that I have opportunity my parents did not have. When I got ready to open up the Cupcake Collection, we had to keep it a secret from my mother. Because it was just like, she would have panicked. Like, no, Mignon, we go to jobs, we work jobs. My mother climbed the corporate ladder at Metropolitan Life Insurance Company. She started there as a secretary, and when she retired, she was retiring with an executive offer on the table. This is a woman that just walked across.
Wow.
I'm getting all excited. Just walked across the stage with her degree.
Yeah.
Only 2 years ago, after she retired.
That's it.
So we go to jobs. We, she said, we work 35 years. We pull pensions, and we live a modest life. That's what we do. If I would have brought to her that I'm going to open up this business, first of all, she would have came and got me and my children out of Nashville, Tennessee.
Are you
right?
serious?
And said, no, you're coming home where we have sense, right?
Yeah.
So we can do things that my mother and father could not do. And then my children's generation are the first generation of African Americans with full access to wealth transference for the very first time as a collective.
Yeah,
so for the first time, we're going to start seeing them get businesses passed on to them.
Yes.
And it outside of a insurance policy.
Come on.
And so we're going to have land and we're going to have, investments and things that are being passed for the very first time.
Yeah.
And I think there's something, clear vision in that, right?
Yes.
And I just think that we have not seen it done enough, which is what, if you look at the vision and the mission statement of the Cupcake Collection, it has nothing to do with cupcakes. It has everything to do with what we're doing right here. Showing other people what they can do if they believe. When I was little, if I wanted to walk, I saw other people walking. Nobody ever told me I couldn't do it. So I got up and I decided to attempt to walk. It hurt. Some people broke their leg. Didn't stop them from walking. The only difference between the me then and the me now is somebody told me what I couldn't do.
Yeah.
Or I never saw anyone else doing it. As a child, you saw other people walking, so you figure, I can do that too.
Yeah.
So you tried it. Well, you kept on trying it until you got it because you saw other people doing it. You need to see other people successfully doing it.
One of the scariest times, one of the scariest moments of my life was when my daughter said, "I want to be an entrepreneur." Now, I'm comfortable. I've been hustling since I've been 16.
Yeah.
Doing odd jobs, hustling for myself, selling candy, whatever it took. I made money. And when she came to me after leaving Pepperdine for 2 years, she says, "I want to be an entrepreneur like you." I was like, "What the hell?" I'm like, okay. I'm a little scared, but I said, "You know what? This is what she's supposed to do.
Right.
This is what I trained her to do."
Exactly.
She watched me do this. She watched me have painting jobs and pouring concrete for myself. So she watched it. So when she said that to me, I was like, at first I was like, "No, okay, I got you."
Yeah.
So it's definitely it's a mindset, right?
Yeah.
Even though as hard as even though I was an entrepreneur all my life, it was still hard. I still had that. I need you to be in safety. I need you to grab on something safety. I need a safety, get your degree. But I was like, no, don't. Okay, I got you. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
So it took me a while to really say, okay, well, I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
Go out there and hustle. Go get it.
Yeah.
It feels good,
Yeah, she saw it done.
She saw it done.
Yeah.
She saw it done.
A lot of people, and when I hear this, I feel a certain kind of way. And I feel sometimes like, dang, Anthony, you haven't really built anything like massive, like 1,000 employees or what you all have built. But a lot of people in the minority space say that the system was not made for African Americans to win. And so because the system wasn't designed for us to win, we cannot win. As entrepreneurs, why are you looking at me like that?
That sounds.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
When I hear that, I'm
like,
I get it. I get it. Back in the 1700s, it said all men were created equal.
Correct.
Well, that wasn't written. It wasn't written for people who look like us. Okay, we get that. So it's like if we can really come to grips with like, hey, there are some things that will be unfair, but it shouldn't stop us from being successful. For you two who have built something, and I want to go here. It's going to be uncomfortable for y'all listening and watching, but I want to ask this question to two successful individuals who are Black. Were there any issues with growing your businesses with you being a Black person? Did any issues come from it? Did any obstacles come from it? Did you feel any
were doors shut in your face? Were opportunities taken from you? Is that the kind?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For
absolutely.
real.
But does that define me? Does that say I'm not gonna be able to do this because you stopped me? Listen, when I went to New Orleans to open my store, I thought I'm going home. I'm going to my stomping grounds. Literally, my realtor, who was like an aunt to me, was getting appointments for places that were clearly available. And when she would show up for those appointments, all of a sudden, those spaces were no longer available. This is 2018.
Yeah.
Wow.
2017, New Orleans, Louisiana.
New Orleans?
Wow.
But New Orleans, that's us.
But we don't own that. Obviously, we don't own the property.
It's also the epicenter for slave trade.
It sure is.
I mean, that's why we're there. You see a lot of, after Katrina happened, yes, there were things that happened. Were they not fair? Were they fair? No, they weren't fair. Did they stop me? No, they didn't. Because one of the things I hear Pastor Michael Todd preaching about the big FU, Forgiveness University right now. And one of the things he's saying is to be victorious means you have to have come through battle.
Yeah.
So to have a victory over something means you had to fight something.
Come on.
Correct.
So I feel like that's the thing that happened. Am I a victim?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Absolutely not.
Like, even we don't want all is fair in love and war, right? We don't want it to be unfair when it comes to those things, but we want favor to be fair.
Yes.
And favor's not fair either.
Yeah.
So, I just feel like, there were some very real situations. So she suggested to me that I hire a white man to represent me. And that's what I did. Now, I'm not saying that where I end up leasing from was we love our, we love our landlord and things like that. He's been, nothing but gracious to me. We found a good match for me.
Yeah.
But even my real estate agent didn't believe it until he saw it.
Wow.
Because his experience is different from mine.
Wow. Now
I can tell you, I know the restaurant business. I know how to open up restaurants, right? There's been times I opened up a restaurant in 90 days. There's been times it took me a year. Not because my ability to do what I know to do, it's because you want to call it red tape, right?
Yeah.
This is a real experience. This has happened to me. My last restaurant in Alabama, the state of Alabama, took me over a year to open. A year.
Yeah.
I signed the lease October 31st
I remember when you signed
of
it.
2019.
Yeah.
I just opened up October 6, 2020 because of red tape. Now, this red tape is nothing that I've ever seen before because I'm used to doing this. I know what paperwork to fill out. I know the tax license. I know everything.
Yeah.
So it wasn't me.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to leave it right there, because I'm going to start getting a little ignorant. But, but I can tell you, I got so frustrated at some point during this whole process, this last process, I wasn't never going to give up because I'm built for this. I was never going to give up. But I'm going to be honest with you. I brought a white friend in. It went downtown to the city and got my last permit. That they said that it was going to take a couple more weeks. He got it that day. He went inside the building, talked to him for about a half hour, came back out with a paper like this to me. So it saddened me. It saddened me, deeply saddened me, because I know my business, right?
Right.
I know there's nothing that I did wrong.
Right.
But that saddened me. That's something that to this day, it's something I'm always going to take with me and teach my kids, but that hurt me. It hurt me.
Let's help someone now.
Ourselves.
Because you have white people watching this and listening to this, and you have black people watching this and listening to this. And, okay, how do we, on the black side as a minority, okay, how do I become successful? Then on the white side, how do I help y'all become successful? What are some practical things that you all can say to minorities who want to start and launch a business, who want to become an entrepreneur? What are some of the key things they need to be doing now in the season that they're in? And let's say the season that they're in is preparation season. They're not ready to launch today, but they know in the next couple of years, this is where God is taking me. This is the business I want to launch. And then let's also flip it to the people who they're launching right now, but they're meeting the same obstacles. Their doors are being closed in their face. And I know how it feels to have doors closed in my face. I've been denied to get on the stage because of my skin color. I know what that door feels like. I know the same people who denied me to speak on the stage now want me to come on the stage because who I am connected to in Dave Ramsey. So I know what it feels like, but I never gave up. And that's why you two are here, because you all have met with the obstacles, you all have endured the pain, and you all are successful in building wealth to pass down to your kids, starting the generation train that 100 years from now, they'll be talking about
connected.
You all.
That's it.
So how do we help those of us who are listening? What are some practical things we can do to really start going that way that you all think young people, and not just young people, all people need to be doing right now?
I think one of the things that resonates for me is the same thing I did with my children. I taught them that they didn't have, that the world that they were going into, they would have to have ownership. Like that they would have to be entrepreneurs. And each one of them have had their feet wet with entrepreneurship from very, very young. And I think learning that it's okay to fail, that failure is little successes. This stuff that you hear people saying are not just sound bites. These are real things, and that you shouldn't be afraid to try. That these little ideas that are popping inside of your head and saying, I should do this, I should do that, are really, I love to tell people that they are invitations from God for you to join in collaboration with him on something that he thought of, that they're not really your ideas anyway. He's asking you to steward over them. And if you would look at them and know that they're not your ideas anyway, you would handle them differently. If Anthony calls me and says, Mignon, go down to the Dave Ramsey offices. The door is going to be locked. I'm going to give you a key. Here's the code. If I go inside and I have the key and the code and somebody says, what are you doing here? And I present the key and the code, that I deserve to be there. And I think that's the same thing. Like God has given us a key and a code that says you're supposed to be here. And if we could walk in that, we would know that it wasn't my idea to walk into the Dave Ramsey offices. It was Anthony's idea.
That's good teaching.
And I think that God is that way. He has given us a key and a code and says, walk in this direction. This is what I have for you. I didn't know how to bake. When I started this, I was going to school to become a surgeon. That was my idea. But every stupid thing that I was doing was leading me to this place where I'd be prepared to do that. So I would say for people, mostly stop being arrogant to believe that you came up with it anyway, because it wasn't yours. You were just asked to steward over it. So that's one of the big things for me.
What you think, bro? What you think? Well, y'all good.
You know, I'll just touch on this. A lot of what you just said. I know that having mentors, right? Having African-American mentors in successful positions, it helped me a lot, right? When I wanted to go in the retail business, you know, I called the president of Glory Greens. You know, I was like, who's a bit, I didn't know any other successful people in the retail, so I'm going to call Glory. I know everybody knows Glory Greens. So I called up there. I said, can I speak to the president? Like, the president's not here, but the vice president's here. And she came on the phone. And she became a mentor to me for like 2 years. And we formed a relationship. At one time, she was going to be the director of my company. But you have to not be afraid to reach out to successful people who, if you want to be into the selling Band-Aid business, find out who that person is. Call them. Talk to them. Find out how they did it. You know, you can't be afraid. And same thing, just having that vision that, hey, I want to be in that person's position. How do I get in your position? Talk to them.
And you'll find that successful people are generous.
Correct.
They really, come on now.
Correct.
You know, they
It's the broke people who are not generous.
Who are stingy. And I think that's why you don't have anything, right? Like, when you keep your hand open, it leaves room to receive from God. Yeah, you're going to lose some stuff, but you also receive from God. And successful people are willing to keep their hand open. They want to pull people up. They want, like, when I was going to school at Lipscomb, I was working on my master's, and one of the things they taught us was about networking. Like, you're not going to get your job positions because of applications that you apply. You're going to get it because of somebody who knows somebody.
Come on.
Absolutely.
And I think that's another key, that the kingdom of heaven is colorful.
Come on.
There's all kinds of people there.
Come on.
And if you want to be a citizen, you're going to have to be willing to receive all kinds of people.
Absolutely.
And I think, like, having your circle be diverse and look like the kingdom of heaven is one way to success, too. If you don't have a white friend, you need to get one.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have any black friends, you need to get some.
You need to get some.
Absolutely. You got to pull from everybody. You got to pull from everybody's strengths.
Like, you know, and another thing that I would say has really helped me is I took a Chick-fil-A approach. I don't want to be your biggest customer, but I want to be your favorite one.
There you go.
And I do that in everything. I don't want to be I don't have to be your biggest guest. I want to be your favorite one.
You know you are my biggest and favorite. Let's just say that,
And I think if we take that approach when we walk into rooms, that I want to do the things that make you excited, that I walked into the room. And not just that I'm taking something from you, but I'm also giving something back, right? Yes. Like you have to be willing to invest also in that same thing, because I'm sure that Glory Greens gave you something, but you probably also gave them something as well.
Absolutely. That was definitely a great experience. I never stopped. It's one thing that my parents always taught me, especially my mother. She was a Black Panther. Mm-hmm. And you deserve to be here. You deserve a seat at the table. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The blood of your ancestors are all over this land. This is your stolen land. Your divine right is to be who you want to be. Yeah. So the fear is only in yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't let the outside noise and things and imagery that is negative, get into your head to the point where you feel like you're less than a king. Yeah. And that always stuck with me, and I've always walked that way. Yeah. And young brothers that work for me, I teach them the same thing. Like what are you doing here? What do you want from me? Yeah. I need you to be my GM in 2 years. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So get it right. Yeah. Don't come to work late. Ooh. Pull your pants up. Ooh. Yeah. You know what? You don't walk in this building thinking I'm gonna be you in the back dancing because you're cooking it for me. No, you're gonna get up here and learn. I'm gonna teach you because that's the only people I want. I want kings. I want young doers, young entrepreneurs. That's the only way this business is gonna rise. So
I love that you said that your ancestors' blood. The thing that I'm living for is to make my name great.
Come on.
And this is not even my name. It's the names of those who will be always nameless that came before me, who never had that opportunity for anyone to ever say their name. Mm-hmm. But because you'll say my name, you say their name. Come on. And so that's what I'm living for.
That's it.
We got a chance as sisters to travel back.
Everybody, if you had an opportunity to get $50,000 cash or a conversation with Bill Gates, which one are you taking? $50,000 cash or a conversation with Bill Gates? Every African American in the building said, I'm gonna get the $50,000 so I can flip the $50,000. I was the only one who said a conversation with Bill Gates. Mm-hmm. And it goes back down to wisdom. Mm-hmm. I feel as if Black people, we don't really want the wisdom. We want the money.
Correct.
Like we don't want to, because I'm like, well, $50,000 is one time. This wisdom can teach me how to make 50 million.
But once you become successful, you realize $50,000 is not a lot of money.
They want to shine.
It's not a lot of money.
Yeah, it's not a lot of money.
Not in the scheme of what is really available.
Correct.
What's available to you.
Because to us, that is a lot of money.
Correct. I don't want to downplay 50 G's that can change somebody's life.
Yeah.
I don't want to downplay that.
In the scheme of what's available to you, you're shorting yourself if that's the goal.
If that's your goal and that's the only thing you're looking at to change your life, nah.
They got people out here who are laying on that kind. You know what I mean? Like literally eating that kind of, like literally throwing away.
That's a vacation.
That kind of money. And it's just like you're a son and a daughter of a king. Like you get to have access to that too. And when you said that, and I cut you off, so I'm be quick. Okay. But when you said that, I just thought about Solomon. God asked Solomon, "What do you want?" And he said, "I want wisdom
and knowledge."
Yeah, and so in exchange for that, God was impressed.
That's it.
And he said, I'm going to give to you. No one ever will be as wealthy as Solomon.
That's it.
Because he asked for wisdom.
So when I hear you all say that, I'm like, man, we have so much opportunity today.
Absolutely.
We can win.
Yeah.
The rising entrepreneur in the world today is a Black woman. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, if a Black woman can do that, a Black man can do that.
Absolutely.
And I'm just excited for when my kids, and I just wanted people to be exposed, like, you can do it. Be a good steward of your thoughts. Get the wisdom. Don't be afraid, because failure or small successes in the making. But what is that key thing that you all want to leave them with today? Mm-hmm.
For me, it's never too late to start.
Yeah.
You start right where you are to get where you want to be. You know, there's a saying that says the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. I always use the example of my business. When I started it, I was struggling to get, a commercial size refrigerator, and I wanted, a whole bunch of, equipment and those kinds of things, but I didn't need those things today. I didn't need those things for where I was today. What I needed today to open my store was a dorm size refrigerator and a KitchenAid mixer, because it would hold temperature, keep my product, and pass inspection. And that's what I started with. Today, there are refrigerators upon refrigerators, and we could get inside of them and play hide and seek. We could get inside of a mixing bowl and sit down, and if you pad it up, you could take a rest.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what people need to know. You think you got to have everything in place. You don't have to have everything in place. You start right where you are, and you also be generous to someone else. I am right now taking, there was a song when I was growing up, little becomes much when you place it in the master's hands. Whatever little that I have, I'm sowing it and investing it into others, I'm planting seeds, and I think that I love this saying too. I wasn't buried, I was planted.
Come on.
And it's just like those things that are, I've said this before, happening to you were happening for you. There's a reason that you were chosen to be the one to go on this path and to be in this position, because God knew what you would do with it. And it's like, what are you going to do with it? I believe that just like you want a return on your investment, God wants a return on his investment.
That's it.
When he goes away and he says, what did I give you? You had this gift, you had this talent. What did you do with it? And that's what I want people to know. Whatever you have, you start.
For me now, because I've grown through business, right? I've gotten a full understanding. I'm a grown man now, right? So what I'm going to say, it might be a little different what I would have said 20 years ago.
Okay.
Now I would say, figure out a way to give back. Think of how that job is going to propel other individuals. How many people are you going to bring with you by utilizing your talent, right? Your skills that you want to make money with. How many people can you grab with you?
Yeah.
For me, it's extremely important, right? It's extremely important to you being the only person with wealth and everybody is over there.
Come on.
You want everybody to come with you.
Yes.
So figure out a way to bring everybody together. Bring everybody with you. And gamble on yourself. Like I said again, you have to bank on yourself. Be selfish, right? Be selfish. Be that person that says, you know what? If you're broke tomorrow and you make money tomorrow, you might be broke 2 weeks from now, but you're going to make money again. Yeah. Gamble on you. Gamble on you, because you're the only person that you can change. You're the only one that's going to turn it around, right? Not anybody else. You can't go to the bank if you're broke and ask for money.
Can't.
Gamble on yourself, but figure out a way to take people along with you. Put them in position of power. Give them a vision of strength. If you're the leader, find out who's going to be your second in command. Identify that person. Oh, I got my vision now. Let's do this. Let me get my bank together, right? Let's do this. I got a plan. I'm bringing everybody together. So for me, me and my wife's vision of our restaurants is open up 1,000. But we want to make sure those people and individuals that are our dishwashers like we do today become our GMs of tomorrow, right? I don't want you to be a waitress. I want you to understand in front of the house. I want you to go on to be a trainer for the other 300 restaurants. Yeah. So, we don't hire, like I tell people all the time, I don't want to hire an employee. Yeah. I want to hire a leader. Yeah. And if I can see that leadership in you, you're going to be with me for a long time. And it's all about building an empire and bringing people along with you. Right, because nothing else matters after the casket closes. Yeah, your name matters, your legacy matters, and the people that you brought up will do the same thing you did. They'll mimic you. Yeah, they'll act like you. They'll bring people along with them, and that's what it's about. There's too many people with closed hands, not willing to shake your hand, willing to turn around when you ask them a question. But that leads to, again, impoverished minds, not becoming a free thinker, because you're always turned away.
Yeah.
Damn, how do I get that?
Yeah.
Can you tell me?
Yeah.
No, not right now.
Yeah.
Let me get it first.
Yeah.
But figure out a way to bring everybody together at once, right?
Yeah.
Figure out your team.
This is hard.
It is.
When it grows and you get 1,000 restaurants, it's gonna be 1,000 restaurants hard.
That's it.
I think that people have this idea that it's gonna get easier.
Oh, no.
I just think it gets harder in a different kind of way. Your challenges just change. But if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
You gotta build.
If it's
you're built
hard,
for
you
it.
just got to do it hard. Everybody wants to sit in that seat and have this cool intro like you have. Hey, oh, hey, oh, and it's just like, but what was happening before the intro?
Absolutely.
And it's just like, and what happens on you said in the beginning, I did some research.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's work.
Yeah.
There is work that is required of us. And Dave always talks about Rabbi Daniel Lapin, who wrote so many really great books. But one of the things that I've taken from his writings is, if Adam and Eve, who were given the greatest accommodations of all time, the first thing that God told them when he gave them the Garden of Eden was, go work.
That's it.
They were required to work, so we're required to work. Work is required of you.
Absolutely.
If you want anything, you have to work for it. Nothing is easy, and nothing is going to just be landed into your lap. And if it is, you still going to have to work to keep it.
That's it.
Absolutely.
That's it. Twice as hard to keep it.
Yeah.